In 1727, when they opened the body of Saint Veronica Giuliani, the surgeons found something that shouldn't exist. Carved into the muscle of her heart, not tattooed, not painted, but somehow imprinted into the tissue itself, were the symbols she had spent decades meditating upon. The crown of thorns, the nails, the cross, the sword piercing Mary's heart. She had drawn these images before she died, told them exactly where they'd find each one. And there they were. Physical, undeniable. Images literally making images. Now, if you've spent years feeling like your body is a prison built by your past, if you've tried affirmations and visualizations and felt like you're screaming into a void, if you look in the mirror and see a flesh and bone monument to everything that was done to you or everything you couldn't become, I need you to hear this. What happened in Veronica's heart wasn't a miracle reserved for saints. It was a demonstration, a proof of concept, evidence of something that's been hidden in plain sight, encoded in your body right now. Here's the thing most people miss. Your body isn't solid. It's not fixed. It's not the immutable consequence of your genetics or your childhood or the ways you were neglected or hurt. Your body, right now as you sit here, is a hologram. And like all holograms, every single part of it contains the image of the whole. Let me tell you what that means. The ear, for instance. Dr. Terry Olson discovered that the ear contains a complete map of your entire body, not metaphorically, literally. He could diagnose problems in your liver, your spine, your heart by examining points on your ear. The accuracy? 75.2%. He wrote, "Every portion of the body may contain the image of the whole." And it's not just the ear. Dr. Ralph Allen Dale found 18 different microsystems in the body. 18 complete holograms. He hypothesized that every finger, every cell might contain its own acupuncture microsystem, every part reflecting the whole. This isn't poetry, this is measurable, testable, real. So here's my question for you. If your ear contains the image of your whole body, if your cells are holographic reflections of your entire being, what does that tell you about the relationship between your mind and your flesh? What does it mean when mental images can be carved into a human heart? Most people think the body keeps score because trauma is locked in like a scar, permanent, unchangeable. But what if I told you the body keeps score because it's still writing, still sculpting, still responding, not to your past, but to the images you're holding right now? Ready to go deeper? Let's explore what nobody talks about. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Everything you've been told about healing, about manifestation, about changing your body, about rewiring trauma has been incomplete. Not wrong, incomplete. And that incompleteness is why you're still stuck. Let me explain. You've probably been told, think positive, visualize what you want, feel the feelings, and you tried, you really tried, but here's what nobody mentioned. Your brain cannot distinguish between the neural holograms it uses to experience reality and the neural holograms it creates when you imagine. Both have the same power to reshape your body. Both can adjust your immune system, heal wounds faster, dissolve tumors, and alter your physical form. The brain doesn't care if the image came from outside or inside. It responds to the image itself. So why didn't your visualizations work? Why are you still carrying the body that trauma built? Because, and here's the part that almost nobody talks about, it's not just about the images you meditate upon. There are 6 elements creating your neural holograms right now. 6 sculptors shaping your physical reality. And most people are only aware of 1 or 2. Let me walk you through them. First, the images upon which you meditate. This is what everyone focuses on. The mental pictures, the vision boards, the guided meditations. Yes, this matters, but it's just one lever. Second, your hopes and fears, not the ones you're consciously aware of, the ones running in the background, the hope that whispers, maybe I'm broken forever, the fear that says, what if I change and lose myself? These create neural holograms you never see but your body absolutely responds to. Third, the attitudes of your doctors and the people around you. When your therapist subtly communicates that healing takes decades, that becomes part of the hologram. When your family treats you like the wounded one, the damaged one, your body hears that. It sculpts accordingly. Fourth, Your unconscious prejudices, the beliefs you don't even know you have. Real change is rare. Miraculous healing only happens to special people. My nervous system is too far gone. These aren't conscious thoughts. They're operating system code, running in the background, shaping everything. Fifth, your individual and cultural beliefs. The stories your culture tells about bodies, about healing, about what's possible. If you grew up in a world that says biology is destiny, that's a hologram creating force. If your religious background taught you suffering is noble, that's in the code too. Sixth, your faith, in things both spiritual and technological. Do you believe in the power of meditation more than you believe in your doctor? Do you trust science but dismiss mysticism? The fragmentation itself, the belief that you have to choose, that creates noise in the system, static in the signal. Here's why this matters. Let me tell you about another stigmatic, Marie-Julie Jahenny. She didn't try to manifest anything. She just kept seeing an image, a flower, persistent, intrusive. She couldn't stop seeing it in her mind's eye. And then one day, the flower appeared on her chest, physical, visible. It stayed there for 20 years. Why? Because her neural holograms weren't polluted by doubt, by cultural disbelief, by the attitude of skeptical doctors. The image was pure, coherent, undiluted. Dr. Michael Grosso studied cases like Padre Pio and wrote, he had an ability to symbolically transform physical reality. The level of consciousness he was operating at enabled him to transform physical reality in the light of certain symbolic ideas. Read that again, the level of consciousness, not special genetics, not sainthood, consciousness. So here's what I need you to understand. When your affirmations didn't work, when your visualizations felt hollow, when you kept recreating the same patterns despite your best efforts, it wasn't because you weren't doing it right. It was because you were missing 5 other elements. You were working with conscious images while unconscious fears were sculpting in the opposite direction. You were visualizing abundance while your cultural beliefs whispered, that's not for people like you. You were trying to heal while the attitudes of everyone around you reinforced the identity of the wounded one. It's not that you failed, it's that you were trying to paint a masterpiece while 5 other artists were working on the same canvas in the dark. And here's where the science gets stunning. Dr. Candace Pert, former head of brain biochemistry at the National Institute of Mental Health, discovered that immune cells have neuropeptide receptors, the same receptors that exist in the brain. She said, I can no longer tell where the brain leaves off and the body begins. Your immune system isn't separate from your nervous system. It's an extension of your brain, a holographic reflection, which means every thought, every emotion, every unconscious belief is a chemical instruction to your cells. Your body isn't just keeping score, it's taking orders. From neural holograms you might not even know you're creating. So here's the paradox. Your body is exquisitely permeable to psychic symbols. It responds to images with breathtaking precision. But most people are broadcasting 6 conflicting images simultaneously, and then wondering why their reality looks like static. Dr. Grosso calls this images making images. Like 2 mirrors facing each other, reflecting infinitely, your mind creates an image. Your body responds by creating a physical manifestation. That manifestation creates new sensory input, new neural holograms, which your mind interprets and responds to. On and on. Feedback loop. Infinite regression. Most people are trapped in a loop built by trauma. Old images creating old bodies, creating old images. But here's what nobody tells you. The loop works both ways. Change one image, just one, and the entire hologram shifts. Because in a holographic universe, every part contains the whole. The question is, do you know how to change it consciously? Do you know which levers to pull? Let's dive into the mechanism. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's when everything changes. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain constructs reality through neural holograms. These aren't just pictures in your head. They're 3-dimensional, multisensory electromagnetic patterns that your nervous system treats as real. Because to your nervous system, they are real. When you remember trauma, you're not recalling a memory, you're reconstructing the neural hologram, and your body responds as if the trauma is happening now. Heart rate increases, cortisol floods, muscles tense. The body doesn't distinguish between past and present. It only responds to the hologram being projected right now, and this is critical, the same mechanism works in reverse. When you consciously create a neural hologram of healing, of wholeness, of a body that moves without pain, your nervous system responds to that image with equal reality. It sends the signals, adjusts the immune function, releases the tension, initiates repair. The brain cannot tell the difference, it only knows. Hologram present, respond accordingly. Now let's connect this to the holographic nature of your body. Remember Dr. Oleson's ear microsystem? 75.2% diagnostic accuracy. He wrote, "The ear holograph is connected to the brain holograph, which itself is connected to the whole body." What does that mean practically? It means your body isn't organized like a machine with separate parts. It's organized like a hologram where every fragment contains the image of the whole. Change happens simultaneously everywhere, because there is no separate part that's disconnected from the rest. This is why acupuncture works, why reflexology works, why a shift in consciousness can ripple through your entire physical form. You're not fixing individual components. You're adjusting the holographic field, and every portion reflects that adjustment. Dr. Ralph Allen Dale took this further. He found 18 microsystems, 18 complete holograms mapped onto different parts of your body, hand, foot, scalp, face, each one a full representation of the whole. His hypothesis? Every finger and even every cell may contain its own acupuncture microsystem. Every cell, containing the whole. So now let's layer this understanding. You have a holographic body, every part reflects the whole, and you have a brain that creates neural holograms which your body treats as instructions. Put those two together and you get images making images. Here's the mechanism. You hold an image in your mind. Let's say an image of your body is broken, damaged by neglect, limited by trauma. Your brain creates a neural hologram of that image. That hologram sends electromagnetic signals through your nervous system. Your cells, each one a holographic reflection of the whole, receive those signals and respond. They tense, they inflame, they hold patterns of protection. They sculpt themselves according to the image. And then, here's the feedback loop. That physical state creates sensory input. You feel the tension, the pain, the limitation. That sensory data gets processed into new neural holograms. See, I am broken. The body confirms it. And the loop continues. Images making images, infinitely reflected like standing between two mirrors. This is why trauma persists, not because it's locked in, but because it's being actively recreated moment by moment through unconscious neural holograms. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Sarah. Childhood emotional neglect, decades of therapy. She understood her wounds intellectually, could articulate her patterns, but her body still flinched, still tensed, still carried the shape of unwantedness. She tried everything. Somatic therapy, EMDR, meditation, affirmations. Some things helped, but the core pattern remained. Then she learned about neural holograms, and she started paying attention, not just to the images she was consciously creating, but to all 6 elements. She noticed, every time she visualized healing, a quiet voice whispered, "But you're too damaged." Unconscious fear. Second element. She noticed, her therapist, though well-meaning, always framed progress in terms of years. This is deep work, it takes time. Attitude of others. Third element. She noticed, she believed at a level she'd never questioned that childhood trauma creates permanent neural changes. Cultural belief. Fifth element. Once she saw these elements, once she became aware of the hologram she was actually creating as opposed to the one she thought she was creating, everything shifted. She didn't just visualize healing, she caught the unconscious fear and spoke to it. She limited exposure to people who reinforced her wounded identity. She questioned the cultural belief that damage is permanent. Within months, her body began to change. Not because she forced it, but because the holographic field she was projecting shifted, and every cell, being a reflection of that whole, responded accordingly. This isn't magic, this is psychoneuroimmunology. The science of how your mind and immune system communicate. Dr. Candace Pert's research showed that immune cells have the same receptors as brain cells. They respond to neuropeptides, chemical messages that encode thoughts and emotions. Your immune cells literally receive instructions from your mental and emotional states. When you're in a state of fear, holding a neural hologram of threat, your immune system shifts into inflammatory mode. Chronic inflammation, autoimmune patterns, the body preparing for attack. When you're in a state of coherence, holding a neural hologram of safety and wholeness, your immune system shifts into repair mode. Healing accelerates. Inflammation decreases. The body relaxes into regeneration. Pert said, "I can no longer tell where the brain leaves off and the body begins, because there is no separation. It's one unified holographic system. Mind and body aren't two things trying to communicate. They're two perspectives on the same electromagnetic field. Think of it this way. Imagine two mirrors facing each other. You place an object between them. What do you see? Infinite reflections. Each reflection creates another reflection, creates another reflection. That's your mind and body. Your mind creates an image. Your body reflects it, physically. That physical state creates sensory feedback, a new image. Your mind reflects that, and on and on. Most people are stuck in a negative feedback loop. The image is, I am damaged. The body reflects tension, pain, limitation. The mind perceives, see, I am damaged. The loop intensifies. But here's the radical shift. You can change the image, consciously, deliberately, and because the body is holographic, every part containing the whole. You don't have to change everything. You change one element, one image, one belief, and the entire system recalibrates. Dr. Michael Grosso studied stigmatics and wonderworkers and concluded, the body became permeable to psychic symbols. Permeable, not resistant, not fixed, permeable. Your body is waiting for new symbols, new images, new neural holograms. Now let's bring this back to where you started. Childhood emotional neglect. The feeling that your nervous system was wired wrong, that your body is a prison built by what was done or not done to you. Here's what the holographic model reveals. Your nervous system isn't wired wrong. It's wired to respond to neural holograms. And right now, it's responding to holograms built from old images, unconscious fears, limiting beliefs, and the attitudes of people who don't understand what's possible. The wiring isn't the problem. The images being projected through the wiring, that's what needs to shift. You don't need to spend decades in therapy slowly reconditioning each neural pathway. You need to become aware of the 6 elements creating your neural holograms and start consciously adjusting them. When you do, when you achieve what's called coherence in the quantum field, your body responds rapidly, not over years, over weeks, days, sometimes instantly. Why? Because in a holographic universe, a slight change in attitude can mean the difference between life and death. So here's my question for you. Can you do this? Can a regular person, someone who's been hurt, who's struggling, who doesn't have mystical abilities, can they consciously reshape their neural holograms? Or is this reserved for saints and yogis and people born with some special gift? Let's talk about what you actually are, because once you see it, you'll never doubt your capacity again. Here's the truth that changes everything. Each of us possesses the ability, at least at some level, to influence our health and control our physical form in ways that are nothing short of dazzling. We are all potential wonderworkers, dormant yogis, not might be, not could become if we're special, are. Right now, the abilities demonstrated by stigmatics, by yogis, by documented cases of spontaneous healing, these aren't anomalies, they're demonstrations. Proof of concept, evidence of what human consciousness is capable of when it achieves coherence. And you, yes, you sitting here with your history of neglect and your body that feels like it betrays you. You have the same fundamental capacity. The difference isn't in the hardware. You have a holographic body. You have a brain that creates neural holograms. You have an immune system that responds to neuropeptides. You have the same biological machinery as every wonderworker who ever lived. The difference is in the software, the images being projected, the coherence of the signal. Saint Veronica Giuliani didn't have special genes. She had unwavering focus, persistent images, no conflicting beliefs diluting the hologram. That's it. That's the mechanism. Padre Pio didn't possess supernatural abilities. He operated at a level of consciousness where symbolic ideas could transform physical reality. That level of consciousness isn't locked behind a mystical door you can't access. It's a state of coherence, achievable, trainable. You already create physical reality with your neural holograms every single day. You're just doing it unconsciously, with conflicting images, with noise in the system. The shift isn't about gaining new abilities. It's about becoming conscious of the abilities you're already using. And here's the elegant part. Because your body is holographic, you don't need to overhaul everything. You don't need to become enlightened or spend decades in meditation or fix every childhood wound before you can start. You need to adjust one element, one image, one belief. The hologram shifts, and every part reflecting the whole shifts with it. In a holographic universe, a slight change in attitude can mean the difference between life and death. Slight, not massive, not heroic, slight. You catch one unconscious fear and bring it to light. The hologram adjusts, your immune system recalibrates, your nervous system relaxes, healing begins. You recognize one limiting belief, biology is destiny, and you question it. The hologram wobbles, reality becomes less fixed. Possibility opens. This is leverage. This is how the wonderworkers do it, not through superhuman effort, through precise, conscious adjustment of the holographic field. Imagine you're looking at your reflection in a pond. The water is choppy, wind, ripples, disturbances. Your reflection is distorted, unclear. Now the wind stops, the water stills. Suddenly your reflection is crystal clear. Nothing about you changed. The clarity came from the medium becoming coherent. That's what happens when you align the 6 elements. When your conscious images match your unconscious beliefs. When your hopes align with your faith. When the attitudes around you support rather than undermine. The medium becomes coherent, and your body, being permeable to psychic symbols, reflects the new image with stunning precision. You don't become someone new. You become clear. And clarity, coherence, is the only requirement for transformation. Padre Pio bore the wounds of Christ for 50 years. Stigmata that bled, that doctors examined, that defied medical explanation. But that's not what makes his case extraordinary. What makes it extraordinary is this. When he decided the stigmata should stop, decades later, they healed, completely, within days. No scars. Dr. Grosso wrote, his ability to symbolically transform physical reality extended to removing the very symbols he had manifested. He didn't just create, he uncreated. Consciously, deliberately, because at the level of consciousness he operated from, physical form was responsive to symbolic intent. That level isn't beyond you. It's on the other side of coherence, the other side of mastering the 6 elements, the other side of conscious awareness. So let me say this clearly. This is not reserved for saints. This is not a miracle you have to earn through suffering or decades of spiritual practice. This is your birthright, not because you're special, because you're human, and human consciousness, when coherent, shapes physical reality. The body you're living in right now, the one that holds your history, your pain, your limitations, that body is permeable. It's holographic. It's waiting for new images. You are the dormant yogi. The question is, are you ready to wake up? Let's bring it all together. You started this journey wondering if your body could ever truly heal, if the prison built by your past could ever open. Now you know, your body isn't a prison, it's a hologram, and holograms are exquisitely responsive to the images that create them. You learned the mechanism. Neural holograms, those electromagnetic patterns your brain creates, are treated by your body as instructions, real instructions. They send signals. Your cells, being holographic reflections of the whole, respond. They sculpt, they heal, they transform. You discovered the 6 elements shaping these holograms. The images you meditate upon, your hopes and fears, the attitudes of others, your unconscious prejudices, your cultural beliefs, and your faith in both the spiritual and technological. 6 sculptors, 6 levers, 6 ways to consciously reshape reality. So here's where you start. Not with perfection, not with all 6 elements mastered at once, with awareness. Begin with the first element, the images you consciously hold. When you think about your body, what do you see? Is it the body trauma built, the flesh and bone monument to everything that was done to you? Or is it the body you're becoming, the hologram you're consciously creating? Notice the image, don't judge it, don't force it to change, just see it clearly. Because awareness itself, consciousness, observing consciousness, begins to shift the hologram. The moment you see the pattern starts to dissolve. Then move to the second element, your unconscious fears. Listen for the quiet voices running in the background. What if I'm too damaged to heal? What if I change and lose myself? What if this doesn't work for me? These whispers create neural holograms you can't see, but your body absolutely responds to them. Bring them to light, speak them out loud, question them. The moment you make the unconscious conscious, its power to shape you unconsciously dissolves. Work through the elements one by one, not in a month, not even in a week. As you're ready, as awareness deepens, and if you're not sure where to start, begin here. Identify one cultural belief you've accepted without questioning. One truth about bodies, about healing, about what's possible for people like you. Maybe it's trauma rewires the brain permanently. Maybe it's real healing takes decades of therapy. Maybe it's miraculous transformation only happens to saints, not ordinary people. Write it down, look at it. Then ask yourself, is this true? Objectively, scientifically, irrefutably true? Or is this a hologram creating belief I inherited from a culture that doesn't understand consciousness? Most of the time, you'll discover it's the second, and the moment you see that, the moment you recognize the belief as a belief rather than a fact, something shifts. The hologram wobbles, your body exhales, the mirrors stop reflecting the same old image. Possibility cracks open. Now, if you're feeling a spark right now, if something in you recognizes this truth, hit that subscribe button. Not because I need the numbers, but because this conversation isn't meant to be consumed alone. Drop one word in the comments, just one word that captures your energy right now. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're waking up. Because here's what I've discovered. When dormant yogis start recognizing each other, when wonderworkers in training gather, the holographic field itself shifts. We become mirrors for each other, reflecting not woundedness but possibility, not limitation but potential. This is the community, this is the movement, and you're already part of it. Before we close, pause with this. Your body right now is a hologram, sacred geometry, every part containing the whole. The ear reflects the body, the cell reflects the organism, the flesh reflects the consciousness, which means you are not separate from your body. You're not trapped inside it like a ghost in a machine. You are the holographic field itself, consciousness projecting through form. And that field, your field, is exquisitely, breathtakingly permeable to the images you hold with coherence. Saint Veronica's heart bore the images she meditated upon not because she was a saint, but because her consciousness achieved coherence. And coherent consciousness shapes physical reality. You have the same hardware, the same holographic body, the same neural mechanisms, the only difference is awareness. So here's my final question. What images will you meditate upon? What neural holograms will you consciously create? What reality will you sculpt now that you know the body is permeable, the mechanism is real, and you are the dormant yogi waking up? This is video 11 in the Beyond Reality series. We've explored how your body is a hologram, how neural holograms reshape your flesh, how you are, right now, a wonderworker who simply hasn't woken up yet. In video 12, we're going somewhere even deeper. Princeton University spent 20 years researching something that changes everything we think we know about consciousness. Something that proves your mind doesn't stop at your skin. Something that reveals you're not just shaping your body, you're participating in the creation of reality itself. The playlist and next video are waiting in the description below. But I'll leave you with this. What if the boundary between your consciousness and the world outside was never there to begin with? What if you've been a co-creator all along, just unconscious of the role? Until next time, stay coherent, master the 6 elements, and remember every part contains the whole.